We'll flip to day 7 and day 8. We're going to talk now about factoring of all types. And this is what makes this unit tough. I can teach you perfect square factoring, and then in the moment, you can do perfect square factoring. I can teach you difference of squares, and then you can do it. I can teach you the trinomials, and then you can do it. But what about when you get all of them all mixed up on one piece of paper, and then you have to decide which one's which? That's what makes this test difficult. Right? If it's all practicing of the same type, one at a time, that's easy. But what happens when you get them all thrown at you all at the same time? How do you decipher as to which one's which? So this flow chart is an attempt to help you organize that idea. What's the very first thing that you want to do? The very first thing you always should do when you're factoring all types of polynomials is, number one, look for a GCF. That's by far the number one thing you want to do first. Now once that's accomplished, once you can say you checked that box, then you follow the flow chart and you have three choices. Let's start with the middle choice. The middle choice is the predominant choice. This is what's going to happen the most often. This one's the most often the trinomial. And then this situation breaks down into two cases. The inspection case and the decomposition case. The inspection is easier. This one is tough. This is the one where you have to break down the middle term. Do you guys remember that? Where you break down the middle? Now on the two sides, this one and this one, this is the stuff we did today. If you have a binomial, difference of squares, then you got to do what we did today. And then the four terms grouping is part of this. Do you remember when we took the trinomial and we split the middle term into two, so you had four terms? That's the four term grouping. So let's go into this second page and I'll show you. This is mixed factoring practice, and this is by far the most difficult aspect of this unit. It's when you get them all thrown at you at once. So I want you to just, right now for 1 minute, I want you just to compare number 1, number 4, and number 10, and number 6. Just compare those with a partner quickly for 1 minute. As a group here, let's discuss. Let's just compare 1 and 10. What's the difference between 1 and 10? Good. She's got it. This trinomial, what's the lead coefficient? 1. This one's easy. This lead coefficient is, this one's a little bit tougher. Let's do them together and compare how I solve both of these. For the first one, you can write the word inspection here because A is 1. The lead coefficient is 1. So all you have to do is think of those special numbers. Something times something is negative 24, and something plus something is negative 2. Now when you think of those numbers, you're done. That's the best part about inspection. Once you think of the numbers, you're done. Can you think of them? She's got it. Negative 6, positive 4, negative 6, positive 4. So how's it going to factor? Bracket, 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 bracket. Because you have to make a 1y squared. There's only one way to do that. Y times y. So then where do those blue letters go, blue numbers go? Here and here. And you're done. That one's done. The magic numbers are the factors. And I'm going to write that here in green. The magic numbers are the factors. Now guess what's going to happen when we do the one underneath? They're not going to be. The magic numbers are not the factors, but they help you get there. Okay? So let's try this one. Number 10 here, you're going to put decomposition, and then you're going to put a not 1. Something, try that again. Something times something is, and don't say 12. Good, 24. Something plus something is 11. Think of those numbers. Don't yell them out yet. Give it 30 seconds to give people a chance. Just breathe. Oh, Ian in? Oh, yeah. Just finish. Let me finish this one, then you go. Okay. 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. Okay, yell it out. Oh, look at you. 8 and 3. Are those the factors? No. On this question, the answer to that is, are those the factors? Yes. But for these ones, no. What you have to do is break down the middle. 11y is now going to be 8y and 3y. Do I do anything to the front and the back? Good. So you got 2y squared and a plus 12. Okay? So now what do? We put them in groups. And what do we do with those groups? You take out a common factor. What could you take out of the first pair? 2y. Good. Take out 2y. What are you left with? Y plus 4. Good. Now what can you take out of the second pair? A positive 3. And you need to write that positive 3. What happens when you take a 3 out? Y plus 4. Now what do they have in common? Y plus 4. And then you have 2y plus 3. This is doable if I'm leading through it. 95% of you can handle that. But I bet it's a smaller percentage you can do that on your own without any push from me. And that's what this weekend has got to be for you. You got to practice this weekend. Saturday and Sunday. At least like 30 minutes, both days, practicing questions like this. Now those other ones that I circled, let's finish off the notes on that one. Please finish off the notes on that one. The magic numbers break down the middle term. So we do 4-term grouping. Okay, the magic numbers break down the middle term, so we do 4-term grouping. Now, before we move on, I just want this is just a concept check. I wonder why we break down the middle term when we do factoring. Because what would happen if you had this question at the bottom and you were asked to expand? You'd go y times 2y, you'd get 2y squared. You'd go y times 3, you'd get 3y. Then you go 4 times 2y, you get the 8y. And then you go 4 times 3, you'd get the 12. And then what would you do with these two blue ones? You would collect like terms to come up here, right? And this would be your final answer, right? So remember, expanding and factoring are inverse processes, okay? Let's do 2 more before I let you be free. Number 4. Before you try number 4, look at this flow chart. What's the very first thing you should always be doing? Look for a, does this question have that? You could take out an A. What would you be left with? What would you be left with if you took out an A out of each? No, there should be 2 terms in this bracket. 1 minus 4A. Now, what's the very last thing say at the flowchart? Always check. Okay. Could I factor anything else out of this? Is this a trinomial? Is it a binomial? It is a binomial. So go to the spot in the flowchart where it says, if it's a binomial, is it a difference of 2 perfect squares? It's a difference. 1 is a square, 4 is a square, but is A. So you're done here. Let's do another question right beside it. This is going to be called 4B, this question here. It's going to be the exact same question, except instead of it beginning with A2, it's going to be A3. If you did this question 4B that I just made up right next to it, what would be the common factor? You could take out at most A. Then you'd be left with 1 minus 4A squared. Am I done now? Now you have a difference of 2 perfect squares. That's what we did today. So then I'd open a bracket and a bracket. How am I going to make a 1? 1 times 1. How do I make a 4A squared? 2A and 2A. And then what's the signs in between? One of them is, and the other one is positive. So that's that last bullet there. Always check to see if further factoring is possible. In this one there wasn't, but in 4B, the one I made up, there was. All right, so your homework is as follows. This page, 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 this page. But it's not due till your test on Wednesday. But you can start tonight. You could do it Saturday. You could do it Sunday.